it's late on Saturday evening. We're still here at Shelbourne Park. We're about to review Friday night's action in the BoyleSports Derby. Kevin, a great night's racing on Friday, of course.
Yeah, it really was. Some magical performances. I suppose Glengar Bale really stole the show. A young dog, seriously going places. We were both very impressed with him last week. We expected him to improve for the run. He did. And probably the most telling performance of the night. Indeed.
We'll kick off though. Heat 1, and this was a remarkable display by Deadly Missile. We know the pace this fellow has. We were expecting this company to fast away, lead all, impressive 29-20 run, but he is easing on that opening corner. Didn't get the flying start, was on the outside of Glory Clara and Razzle Dazzle Man, or Glory Clara into the corner. Forced to... Well, he wasn't really forced to check his stride. He eased his stride and lost ground, got caught up then with Trap 6 Battle Cry entering the back straight, showed remarkable pace to get back into it. It came between his two rivals off the last bend and won. He's going to have to improve his bend running, shall we say, certainly that opening bend, but there's no question this fellow is as fast as any greyhound in the Derby.
Yeah, very much so. Look, he's probably minded himself a little bit. He just gives away a couple of lengths at the corner. In hotter company, it's going to be much harder to do that, but you got to say his performance down the back straight tonight was simply sensational. Our own Battle Cry was level with him at the second bend, and he left her for dirt really down the back. Now she came back at him. She was only beaten probably a length at the line, but he had done an awful lot of running from 2 to 3, remarkable running from 2 to 3 against Derby quality opposition. It's scarcely believable, but you would be slightly concerned, supporters, I'm sure, that he does ease slightly into the corners, and maybe it's a confidence issue that might come out of him. He may have got a bump at the bend before, and he might be just weary and minding himself. But look, as we go deeper into the competition, he'll have to drive that bend. You can't give an inch in this Derby and expect to win it. So, but look, like you said, he is really one of the best and fastest dogs left in the competition.
29.51, perhaps leaving on 4 or 5 lengths on the track. It's a hell of a run. Moving on, the second heat of the night on Friday, and this saw the old stager NEWINN Leicester turning back the clock. He's August 16, and he had been getting there. He's had 3-4 runs now since the return after lockdown. Last week, tied up a little bit, was collared by Coulavani Chick tonight, or on Friday night, made no mistake, and charged up the outside of Jack Solution off the second bend, headed him into the third bend and went on to score. He must be a joy to own, you'd imagine.
Yeah, very much so. And this was a really good performance. I didn't think he'd win at the second bend. I fancied Jack Solution at that point, a younger dog coming places, and look, he was second in a Produce Stakes. Like, that tells you all you need to know. And NEWINN Leicester, he's probably more renowned for his early pace than he would be for coming from behind runners. So a very impressive performance, and I'm sure the kennel will be only delighted, as they would be with all their runners, but especially those that are growing on in the years. Every time they pull the wool out of the hat, it just adds that little bit more. But definitely a dog that we know all the ability he has. His strike rate is second to none. I think he's 50%, upwards of 50% in his strike rate for a dog that's been running in top open class competition all his life. That takes an awful lot of doing, and a really good performance. And the clock is there as well, 29.40 odd, 42 in fact. That's a real good performance, but take nothing away either from Jack Solution. That's a real good pup coming places. I'm sure Peter is very excited about him going forward.
Yeah, it was only his 8th start, Jack Solution. He's a real professional at boxes, worth noting, especially considering we know the draw for the next night. Frankie's Jet, he's given Brian Johnson and Michael Webb a real good twist. He's a dog with good early speed. He moves well down the back straight, does little wrong. He's a dog that maybe, with a little bit of luck, could go another round. On so to Heat 3, and this was TOOLMAKER Sydney. He was a hot favourite. He's increasingly looking more like a dog that really isn't going to be starting, and he's not a big finisher, but my God, 2 to 3, he is as fast as most. He is exceptional down the back straight, and that's what won him the race on Friday night. He got to the front at the third bend and then again struggled up the home straight. He's massive down the back, but is that enough?
Yeah, look, I think I'm a little bit more impressed with him than yourself. I think after this dog ran, I thought it would be easily the performance of the night. I do think this dog can trap better. I'm waiting for it to happen. Look, he's a dog who's had nothing but injury problems throughout his career. He was a sensational young dog. Robert has done exceptionally well to get this dog back and nurse him back. I think he just, remarkably, even though given his age at January 18, that was tonight only his 6th ever career start. He just needs to get used to racing. The more racing he gets, I know from talking to Robert, he can trap. trust me, he can come out of a box. It's waiting to happen, and the night he does, he's going to explode. He really, really is. He'll do the runs that the best of them are doing, I have no doubt. Yeah, the 550 is probably stretching him to the limit, but this dog has exceptional ability, and I was blown away with what he did down the back tonight. I thought he had no chance after what happened to him at the traps to win that race and do 29.47, giving away what happened to him at the boxes. For me, I thought it'd be performance of the round. However, as we see a little bit later on, there was more to come still as well. But yeah, blew my socks off TOOLMAKER Sydney. I'm a big fan.
I'll reserve my judgment. Just behind them, Great Eastern and Clona Blaze, two great professional performers. They're running well. They could go another round, you never know. On so to the next heat of the night, Heat 4. And this was certainly, as we said earlier on, the standout display of Friday night. Glengar Bale, a dog that really is going places. Most impressive perhaps was the 16.93 third bend split. You know, that was sensational. This dog is all about speed and not so much power. He's strong. He's getting to that winning line, don't get me wrong, but he's a real 550-yard dog with massive pace to that third bend. Yeah,
and I think he'll go better as well. I thought last week, in two ways. Last week I was very impressed with him because it was the best early he'd shown me in his brief career. I wasn't that concerned about him not getting home. I'd seen him in Tralee. I saw him in Tralee run a night that we were down there. The weather conditions were deplorable, and this dog came from behind to win. And if a dog didn't stay that night, they wouldn't have got home. So I think he'll get 550 strong, no problem at all. And when he winged it again tonight, I said, right, well, you've really got your act together at the boxes. And he just explodes after 5 strides into the corner. He'll get 550 stronger. We thought last week he cramped a little bit coming home, that he'd get stronger. He did that this week. I would not be one bit surprised if he stayed the 550 even stronger next week again. If this dog keeps up starting the way he's starting, I think he's the one they'll all have to go to beat. He seems to have everything.
Yeah, exceptional young dog. Behind him, of course, big run by Rockburst Mike. He's owned with a bit of crack syndicate, and I think they're having just that, a bit of crack with him. He's a lot of pace, maybe a bit of a character, but he could easily be in the last 24 of the Derby if he has a little bit of luck. And of course, Ballydoyle Valor, he's slowly finding a bit of form, just not quite happening just the moment. He's going to need to find another few lengths in the next round, but you never know. We know he's very capable on his night. Moving on to Heat 5, and this one really was a good news story. Great to see Our Surprise back to winning ways. His last victory had come in the semi-finals of last year's Derby. They were left with a heartbreaking decision to pull him out of the final because of injury. Lawrence and Brian Jones certainly deserved this. Our Surprise, a good winner. He had to work hard to get there, but he really does stay this 550-yard trip and beyond. And when it came to a tight enough run around the last 2 bends, well, he was going to be too strong for the challengers.
Yeah, he looked the winner off the second bend, to be fair. We know how strong he is coming home. And you'd imagine this dog has to be getting better. He's had little racing all year. He's been had a very easy campaign, and you'd imagine with every run he should just come on that little bit more. And look, he still has it. He's running the exact same way he ran during the Derby last year, which saw him get to the final and unfortunately for Connections not take part. But yeah, very, very professional performance from Our Surprise, much better than last week. I'd expect him to take another step forward again next week. And Rope Walk Boy ran very, very well for Liam O'Rourke, and I'm sure they're giving Connections a cracking ride with this lad, and he's into the third round now next week. And look, he'll need luck on his side, but if he does Rope Walk Boy, he won't be too far away.
Law Hill Josh, the qualifier there. He's a dog that's just that couple of lengths behind the top class ones, but always gives us all. On so to Heat 6, and here we saw a fine display by another youngster, NEWINN SHEEDY, another good winner for Graham Holland. 5th win from 10 starts, 50% strike rate. He's going the right way, he's improving all the time, and 29.29 off the front. He's have we seen the best of him yet, or is there better still to come?
Well, this lad took me by surprise in Clonmel. I was down there for the opening round of the Produce Stakes, and we had one of my dad's dogs in the race, and I quite fancied him. Now Arla got it all wrong at the boxes, but NEWINN SHEEDY won that race, and it was a really, really good performance. He showed lovely early pace. He wasn't a dog I knew a whole lot about before the Produce Stakes. Things didn't go right for him afterwards, but you have to look at his last 2 lines of form and say, this dog it just seems to be there's so many early pacers in it this year, but if there wasn't as many early pacers in this Derby as there is, we'd be talking much, much more about this dog, because he really has explosive early too. He can fly to the corner, and he's staying out the trip very strongly as well. He has it all, really. He starts, he stays, he's good back straight pace. A dog that's really coming underneath the radar from a kennel that has so many so many big names. I think NEWINN SHEEDY just went underneath the radar, but he's firmly on people's notebooks at the moment.
Yeah, of course. If he was in a different kennel, he'd
Yeah.
be their superstar. But in the kennel he's in, he's probably only
Correct.
fourth or fifth string.
Correct.
But he's getting there, and he could easily be first or second string come the end of this derby. It was noted. It's worth noting, however, this was a heat where there was no real early speed. So we were expecting him to set the gallop, and he did what's expected. He can only go out and beat what's in front of him. Bichu Cognac runs a great race from Acorns. He's still there. It'd be a dream if he went into the latter stages of the derby. And Cassius King, the old fella, February 16, a former Produce Stakes winner, and he's still running well. And he's not going to win any derby, but it's great to see him there. On to Heat 7, and this was a professional display by Cotunda Logan in a race full of very promising young trackers. It was the experienced head of Cotunda Logan that flashed out of boxes, showed his early speed, went clear down the back straight, and in fairness to him, in the quick conditions, galloped right to the line, 29.31. A fine display by Cotunda Logan, but Coolavani Chick in second. She showed exceptional pace and power after, well, mistakes in the early yards, found a bit of traffic, but what an engine she has. But yeah, Cotunda Logan, a good winner.
Yeah, very much so. Very professional, I think, is the way you'd sum it up. And you put this dog in one, in any heat, in any round, and he's not going to be a million miles away. He's got sprinters early, and he's seeing out the trip much better than he was previous. He's got really good 5-to-5 form, like 28.15 up here. Any time of the year, you have to be able to run to do a clock like that. And he's staying on so much stronger at the moment. His 2 wins, his last 2 rounds have been very, very professional, out and gone from trap 1. And if you give him an inside draw with his early pace, he's going to be a factor for any greyhound left in it. And like you said, Coolavani Chick, the 2 sisters in this were intriguing to watch, and Lock and Coolavani Chick. We thought Coolavani Chick had more early pace, and that's what worked out. However, like you said, she got trouble at the first corner, had to check her stride, but from halfway, these 2 ladies are just exceptional. Like if they ever go over 6 bends, like what clocks they could perform will be absolutely unbelievable. But look, they're probably next year's bitches, but at the same time, you wouldn't like Coolavani Chick sitting on your backside going around the second last bend anyway.
Yeah, certainly not. And Lock actually did qualify, but she absolutely rocketed home. It was Catchery Flying that qualified in third. He didn't get home tonight. Maybe he's had 2 or 3 quick runs. It might be just getting to him. He's young enough dog, but there's better to come from him. I just hope that he can find it, because if he doesn't, he'll be going out soon enough.
Well, yeah, but he showed lovely early pace. In fairness, like Cotunda Logan really flew to the corner. Catchery Flying made a mistake at the boxes, but showed lovely early to the corner. I think he might have just burnt himself out to the third bend trying to catch Cotunda Logan and just ran out of steam up the home straight.
Perhaps that is the case. On to the final heat, and this one, Epic Hero. I certainly had been waiting for this run from this fellow for quite some time. It came. He flashed out of boxes. He got to the front. And Clara Icon, another magnificent display from him in defeat. But Epic Hero was a pretty epic performance. 29.19. He's only 4 spots behind Glengar Bale in the latter part of the card. A hell of a run by Tommy O'Donovan's dog, and a pup that's going places.
Yeah, and he just slightly got his legs clipped as well, leaving the boxes, stepping into the left. He's a dog that we said on this preview last week. You said it. You were waiting on a big run. I've been craving this run. He was another dog that ran in the unraced in Tralee. When you look back at that unraced stake in Tralee, oh my God, like Glengar Bale, Ballymac Wild, Epic Hero, they all were in it, and they're all performing now. And Epic Hero is a dog that, although he's only had 9 starts, he's had terrible luck with draws. He's a bang railer that needed a draw, and we knew when he got a reasonable draw he had a run like this in him. He got 3, he stepped left even from 3, but once he got his feet underneath him, he was just awesome, really. Like 29.19 in the last heat of the night, it takes some doing. And Clara Icon, well look, he's a dog that could probably put it up the Mick O'Donovan's dog down the back straight, but there's not many that can go down the back straight as quick as them. But like when you see him making up ground and then you see the clock, like you really just think like the engine that is inside is just phenomenal.
Just worth pointing out there, Antigua Sands running well to qualify in third for Liam Dowling. As we were to see a few hours later, it was going to be Liam Dowling's round, shall we say. But that was the Friday night action. It only really serves to whet the appetite. Plenty more action to come in the BoyleSports Derby.